Reporting live from 10:05. I'm Brandon.
I'm Ryan.
And we are bringing you our waiver wire pickups here this week. A lot of people went down with injuries in week 2. It was one of the craziest weeks we ever seen. 8 ACL tears. A lot of people out for the year. So you're going to be needing some people to pick up here. So we're going to give you our waiver wire picks for the week.
We'll each just run through one at each position that you can go after.
Excluding kicker.
Yeah, except for kicker, we don't do that.
Yeah. All right, so why don't we get onto the way here? And we're going to start off with quarterback. I got Gardner Minshew here. Very good matchup versus the Dolphins. He's only rostered in 24.9% of leagues. This is a pickup that could be for more than just this week, though. Gardner Minshew's been playing incredible. Put up 23.46 points last week. Once again, bringing his average up to 22.1 points throughout the first 2 weeks. The Dolphins let up 34.5 points to Josh Allen last week and 26 to Cam Newton in week 1. Defense is not looking good. Very favorable matchup for any quarterback, so I like Minshew here. Be sure to pick him up.
Yeah, I like Minshew. My quarterback is Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's owned in 2.4% of leagues. This is like an out there one. He's usually a pretty good fantasy quarterback. He usually throws for a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. He had a rough week in week 1. He looked bad against the Patriots, but Patriots make a lot of quarterbacks look bad. But he did have a great week 2 against a good Bills secondary where he went for 300 plus and 3 touchdowns. They almost ended up beating the Bills actually, and he's got a great matchup next week against Jacksonville. So we'll see what he can do there.
It's a good underdog matchup. I'm excited to watch that.
Yeah.
Thursday night too.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on to the running backs here. I got Devontae Freeman here. I've been watching Devontae for the last 2 weeks to see what would happen with him during his free agency. Saw they said he was going to pick a team here this week going into week 3. Ended up being the Giants. That happened the day we're recording this video. So he's only owned in 15.3% of leagues. There's a lot of you that are still going to be able to go out there and get him. And it's not just for a stream pick this week. I don't expect big things out of him here in the first week or 2. But I see him taking over that spot from Wayne Gallman throughout the whole year. He's going to be a good running back. He's a receiving threat. He had 1,000 total yards last season and 6 touchdowns in 14 games. So I expect big things from him this year.
Yeah, I'm liking Devontae Freeman though. My running back, Mike Davis. This is a good one here. Carolina lost McCaffrey here for a couple weeks. Especially if you're a McCaffrey owner, you'll definitely want to go after him. Like him, yeah, he's a McCaffrey owner. He's gonna want him here because he'll be the main back in their offense for the next 4 to 6 weeks while McCaffrey's out. He had a big game receiving last week. He had 8 catches. That was when McCaffrey got hurt in the 4th quarter, so he didn't get much work on the ground. But he also averages 15.7 fantasy points per game when getting 13 touches, and that's happened in 8 games in his career. He has a tough matchup this week against a Chargers defense that is 3rd right now against halfbacks and has played real good against the running back position. But I think for the next couple weeks, especially if you're a McCaffrey owner, he'll be a good player to own.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to the wide receivers here. I got Laviska Shenault Jr., rookie this year. This kid's he's only owned in 18.2% of leagues. He's averaging 12 points a game here through the first 2 weeks. He's listed as a receiver, but he's not just a receiver. He's also gotten a lot of carries. He has more carries than receptions so far this year. And the Jaguars use him as a big playmaker guy. They trust him with the ball in his hands, especially in open field, and they're going to keep giving him his touches. He's taken snaps out of the Wildcat. He's lined up as a running back already this year. I expect big things from him, especially if he can find like a long rushing touchdown in a game. He's very good upside and big potential throughout the year.
I have another wide receiver on the same team. I got Keelan Cole here. He's owned in 3.2% of leagues. He's getting a good bit of looks from Minshew. It looks like he's trying to get him involved in the offense. In week 1 versus Indy, he had 5 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown. And week 2, he had 6 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. He has 2 touchdowns in 2 weeks. He's actually currently the 16th ranked wide receiver in fantasy football. And I think if they keep getting him involved, especially down near the red zone, he'll have that upside every week of getting a touchdown.
All right, moving on to the tight ends here. I got Jimmy Graham. He's owned in 24.9% of leagues, the exact same as Minshew. They're going to be available in a lot of leagues here, so look for him. Jimmy Graham's had a good week and a bad week already this year with a 2-point outing and a 12-point outing. But I really like the matchup here. I wouldn't keep him around for long unless you're really struggling with tight ends. But they're going up a struggling Falcons secondary who gives up a lot of points to tight ends. Last week we saw Dalton Schultz go out and put up 22 for 9 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. He looked incredible. And the Falcons have just been bad against tight ends for the past few years. So I expect Jimmy Graham to go out and do good things here with Trubisky playing as well as he is so far.
I like that one. I got tight end. I got Logan Thomas here, Washington tight end. He's owned in 16% of fantasy leagues right now. I think that's going to go up a good bit here this week. He had 4 catches in week 1 for 40 yards and a touchdown, and in week 2 he had 4 catches for 30 yards and no touchdown. But that's good consistency, especially from a waiver wire tight end. That's a tough position. It gets really thin. In week 1 he had 8 targets, in week 2 he had 9 targets. So I mean that's a lot of targets for a tight end, and especially a tight end that's on the waiver wire in most leagues. And this week he's got Cleveland, who is currently ranked 32nd against tight ends through 2 weeks. So we'll see. I think this could be a big week for Logan Thomas.
Haskins has been loving him, so.
Yep.
All right, moving on to our defenses here. I got the Browns D. It's an obvious pick. They're owned in 12.3% of leagues still, though. Not a great defense, but they're the highest projected defense this week. Don't read into that projection too much, but they have a very good matchup going up against Washington. Washington's offense, they just haven't been looking strong, and they've let up an average of 7 points to the defenses they've played already this year. So if I can get 7 out of my defense, especially a waiver wire stream, I will gladly take that.
I got the Chargers here. I didn't really like much of what I saw on the waiver wire this week except for the Chargers, but I was surprised they were out there. They're owned in 29% of leagues. They're not owned in our league right now. I just think they're just a really solid defense. They got a good matchup versus Carolina this week. That's a Carolina team without McCaffrey, as we said, and they're just a good defense, solid. I think that could be a defense you could use a lot of the weeks this year. You won't have to stream as much. They played Kansas City last week, let up 23 points, scored 0 fantasy points, but, I mean, that's Kansas City. 23 points allowed, not bad at all. Week 1, they played Cincinnati, let up 13 points, had a pick and a fumble recovery, scored 12, and right now they're the 12th ranked defense in fantasy. So I think throughout the year, that could be a defense in your lineup.
Mm-hmm. They have a good defense. All right, well, there are all our waiver wire pickups for the week. I think there's a lot of good guys we offered here. I think they're going to be available in most of your leagues, so I'd be sure to look into it and try to make a claim for them here.
Yep.
Well, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And it's been 10:05. Peace out.
See you later.